Welcome back, folks, to Tech Hoarders Anonymous. Now, if you know the channel, you will know that in the past 2 months or so, I have been working arduously to gather up as much gear as possible. So far, I have been very successful. Many of the pieces are fully functioning, or if they have some issues, they are minor and can be overlooked and used successfully as a passion project. Up until this point where I shall show you that actually not all my purchases are so well documented and calculated. Here is what I am talking about. Here I have a full box of useless and obsolete tech stuff that actually do not work. Just for the information, you must know that I paid for this lot about 150 euros. However, there are some good pieces in here, though I'm not showing them now. I shall bring them over in a few moments because I really don't have the space to look at all of them. However, for the point of this discussion, you must consider that I paid for about 14 lenses and cameras, about 150 euros, and out of those, only 3 seem to be working. So that's not really a good start. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's just move the box out of the way and I shall quickly pass through each and every piece of this collection, so-called collection, so you know what I'm talking about. First of all, this caught my eye, and actually this made me keep on purchasing in order to get something good out of this lot. So it's a Tamron EF mount lens. It is actually a 16 to 300 millimeter zoom lens, but I shall put the whole name into the description. So as you can see, a beautiful lens, very nicely constructed. It is exquisitely built, and it still brings a fair amount of interest and keeps its value on the second-hand market. However, it does give the error 01 when connected to a Canon body, so it's actually useless. Next, let's stick to the Canon body theme and discuss about this. This is a Sigma lens, again a highly valuable one. It does present a minor scratch somewhere on top, but actually that's not the worst part. The worst part is, well, it's a bit stuck first of all, so that's not a good sign, and also it's actually caked in fungus. So usually when I buy these lenses, I'm okay with some sort of fungus debris on the lens itself, because, you know, they are old lenses, and if the image shows a good quality after shooting with the lens, you can overlook the fungus. Of course, you make a full disclosure if you sell such a lens. However, for the purposes of hobbyists and the like, I think fungus should not always be a catastrophic or a deal breaker. In this case, this thing is filled to the brim. It's actually opaque in terms of fungus contamination, so again, it's a no-go. Also, it gives out the same ER01 error, so yeah. That's a big loss. These two were supposed to worth between $100 and $300 in total, but seeing as they are actually pretty damaged, I would be surprised if they brought in even $50 as a pair. Moving on with the lens theme, this is an EFS 18 to 55. This I have known to be a defect. I didn't consider it as much of an issue because of these two lenses. My high hopes were here in terms of value and usability. This is a 14 to 45 Olympus digital, a Zuiko lens. Now this was supposed to be in good condition, but actually the issue with it is that it does not focus, which is strange because the camera that is supposed to be working with. Surprisingly enough, the camera has the same exact issue. It does not want to focus neither with this lens nor with another lens. Also, this 14 to 45 will not focus with another camera. So again, a huge loss here. Also with this particular camera, somebody tried to quote-unquote fix it, so they removed some screws and also they damaged this connector pin assembly here, which I tried to reassemble, but still no improvement in terms of focusing. Also, there's the issue of the mirror contamination, and I believe the sensor is contaminated with dust as well. So yeah, this one is a no-go. Now, in terms of lenses, I do have here a Konica Minolta, which can be tested on A-mount Sony cameras and also on Konica Minolta cameras, but I don't have those, so I shall consider it untested. And well, also I had high hopes for this, the Sigma 50mm lens, which actually, let me try to extend it a bit. Yeah, so this one, the Nifty 50, should have brought, again, if fully functioning, should have brought about $120 or maybe $80, somewhere in that vicinity. But anyway, a significant amount of money. However, the issue with it is that it does give the error 01 as well as the other lenses here, so it's a no-go. Okay, so we kind of went through the lenses. Additional bodies that created a bit of an issue for me. The Canon 1000D, a beginner DSLR camera from way back when. It's in good condition, at least aesthetically speaking, but it doesn't power on. So it's actually useless. There's another 350D, which I suspect might work. However, it does not have the battery door, and the door closing sensor seems to be malfunctioning. So yeah, with the extended battery grip that mounts here into place, I managed to see that this thing shows a low battery, but also I didn't charge the grip fully, and well, mostly because this is actually a bit worthless, even if it's a functioning unit. So maximum €20 or $25 realistically. So yeah, that's not such a good deal after all. Now for this, I did have high hopes. This is a Nikon D60. And initially I looked at the body and I didn't pay close attention to the innards, the sensor and the mirror. And it looked okay, so I had the battery available. I thought to myself I might have a quick chance at a profit here. However, the problem is the mirror assembly doesn't want to stay at the angle. It just collapses upwards, and also there's an issue with the I can't really know if you can see here. Let me just try to zoom in. There is an issue with the sensor assembly, so yeah, this will never work. It turns on, it does show signs of taking photos, but it just doesn't register anything because it can't physically, it is not able to take any photos. Also, I had here a high hopes camera. Now, I know this is not really a valuable piece. It's a Canon EOS 30D. However, I like the idea that it is heavy built. Actually, it's built like a heavy machinery, a piece of machinery. It is made out of an alloyed material, a magnesium of some sort, so it's a premium metal finish camera. And it does power on, however, it registers the error 99 generic Canon error from the DSLR bodies of yore. So these are supposed to have just a single nondescript error when facing any technical difficulties within the circuitry, the motherboard, and so on. I have tried reattaching the inner small battery meant to keep the memory and the data and so on, but it didn't really help anything. So yeah, this one's actually useless as well. So the fully functioning pieces out of this complete mess of a lot are these: the Pentax 18 to 55 first generation, which works flawlessly and doesn't seem to have permanent irreparable issues in terms of lens contamination or stuff like that. So it's a bit grimy on the top, but nothing inside, and this I consider a win. Next, there's this bad boy, the EFS 17 to 85 millimeter Canon lens, and let me just try to open it up so I can show you this actual lens. So it's again, it's a bit dusty on top, but nothing unfixable. The bottom is also pretty clean, free of fungus, no issues there. It works very well, and most importantly, this has the autofocus function fully accessible. So yeah, there's also a bit of a scratch here, which is a bit worrisome from what I can tell, but it actually doesn't do anything bad to it. So probably some sort of brute of a person tried their hand at opening them. I don't know why, to what extent, because there's no point in it since it functions, but who knows. Yeah, and the third piece that I don't know, it's supposed to function, but I don't really know, is this beautiful Pentax KR. Well, I don't know if it functions or not. It's looking beautiful, it looks barely used, but I don't have the battery to turn it on, to try to turn it on, so for now I shall consider it a pending situation. So if these three work, I can just barely sell the other broken pieces of kit at a loss and maybe break even, because I can get about 40 euros for this Canon 17 to 85 millimeter, about another 30 to 40 euros for this Pentax 18 to 55, even if I sell it at a kit, and let's say about 40 euros for this Pentax KR, but I still need to purchase a battery. So all in all, I can get about 100 euros back from these three, and hopefully sell the rest of the lot at a huge loss for about 50 euros, which is fair to the next person who would like to try their hand at repairing them. Now, before I go, I would like to point out that I would like to try my hand at repairing or at least cleaning some of these, because I have nothing to lose, and it's not about those 50 euros that I can potentially get back from this, well, this actual disaster of a lot. The issue is that I don't really have the time. Now I have, at this point, I think I have gathered about 80 to 100 DSLR and mirrorless cameras, lenses, kits and the like, and I am feeling overwhelmed, and this would be a topic that I will touch in a future video. But for now, remember that I buy, hoard and collect weird and quirky, obsolete tech stuff like this gathering of useless DSLR parts and junk, so you don't have to. I thank you for watching, and I shall see you in the next one. Bye bye.